So our aims and objectives for today's lesson is to recap previous learning, identifying SMART targets for the session, rehearse material for performance on Friday, as well as film the rehearsal and reflect on personal growth. We first started off with a recap and we had to answer certain questions. And the first question that we had to answer was, what did you learn new last week? What I learned new last week is a whole different character. So at the beginning of the play, when we first got our characters, I was playing Amy, and now I'm playing Dean, which is the main character in the play. And at first I just felt like it was a bit overwhelming because it was like 2 weeks to learn lines and identify aims and objectives and your intention and motivation. And it did feel a lot, so it's kind of good now that we have just a snippet of the play, so I've only have to learn so many lines instead. And it's just easier that way, so then it's easier for me to identify SMART target, intention, motivation, your objectives within the play, and also having an understanding of the characters. But I also feel like being in the lessons and all of us working together, it just helps to have an understanding of all the characters anyway, because we've been there, we've helped each other go, okay, I feel like this character has this relationship with so-and-so. So it wasn't that hard to build relationships with Andy's character and Ashley's character and Frankie's character, because we've already been in the lessons before, so we've actually saw those scenes running before, so you understand how they react to each other. I also think what I learned new is that I can learn lines pretty quick as well. So even though I'm only in 4 scenes, I know all my lines already. So I think I learned them in about 2 days. So I just feel like it was easier as well, just so I can let loose a bit and I can start interacting with different characters and just adjusting to the stage as well. Because at first we were going to do the performance in the round, and now it's face on. So it's more space to experiment with, and you don't have to worry that much about if people can see you with the seeing your back, so you've got to be more exaggerated. But even though that we are doing it in front, we should still remember, okay, the audience is facing this way, and we need to make sure that they can see him, and we are being exaggerated with our bodies as well, because this 85% of your body movement is through storytelling, so people can understand what you're doing in your body. Another question that we had to answer was, what did you want to focus on during filming? What I want to really focus on is, now that, because I've learnt my lines, I want to build relationships with different characters. So I feel like me and Andy, during our scene together, we have that connection. And because it is quite friendly at first, and then it gets quite argumentative, and then it gets back sweet and kind, and I think everyone can, like, it is a bit awkward at first, but once you get past it, it's an alright scene. We get along together pretty well, and it wasn't hard to adjust from Andy going, okay, this is a new Dean. With Ashley, I feel like it was just easy working with Ashley because we have that connection and we are like best mates. So it's just arguing with her is normal because it's what you do as mates, and there's that connection already there, so it's easy to work together. With James Dean, with Scott, I've not really worked with Scott before, so I thought that it would get a bit getting used to when working with him, but really the relationship, it still needs working on, but you can still see there's a relationship there. I think now that we're going to work on it more, we need to think more about it in the body and being tactile together, because that's what we do as human beings. So we need to think more like natural and being truthful on stage. Also with the scene within Frankie's, I feel like it is getting there. I think it's a lot more better than what we were doing in scene 4 when I was playing Amy. I feel like the connection and relationship is better now that I'm playing Dean, because you can see the friendship and the bit of awkwardness that's in the scene as well. So I feel like we work together a lot better now. I also want to work on listening, so listening to each line that my partner's given me. So I don't want to think, okay, my line's next, what's my line again? I just want to listen to it and make sure that I can react more naturally and truthful on stage. And I also want to work on character. I know now, now I'm playing Dean, I have to think more manly because this is a girl who wants to be a boy, and I'm not that. I'm very girly with my gestures and within my voice as well, so now I need to think more about, okay, how am I going to use my voice, how am I going to use my body, and how am I going to portray this manly kind of figure. Maybe not too manly because yet again she is still a girl who wants to be a man, and at certain stages in the play she hasn't learned how to stand, she hasn't learned how to talk because James Dean hasn't told her yet. This would be in scene 6 because she's not, she doesn't have like the pep talk till scene 8. So I feel like from scene 6 to scene 9, which is my next scene that I'm in, I need to show like the clear justification of her actually transitioning. So throughout every scene that I'm doing, she's getting a little bit manlier, she's getting more confident, she's believing more in herself. And then hopefully it will tell a story as well. And my target for today is to perform at performance energy, so I'm used to it for Friday. And I also want to look at gender within character. So for example, I'm going to look at gestures and posture and voice and think, okay, so my character is a man, or she's a girl wanting to be a man. So think more about how they would stand, think about how the voice would be, think about the gestures, and not just think about, okay, I do this, that and the other. So think about, okay, how can I stop myself from doing that? And that's kind of coming back to looking at the Alexandra technique, and thinking about all the gestures and habits that you do and trying to eliminate them. So I feel now what I need to do outside of college before Friday is start to think, okay, look at my gestures, what do I do with my voice? Start thinking what I actually do, so then I can develop it for my character and change it for Friday, so you can see a clear difference in character.